because of a huge mistake at the hospital. Doctors accidentally gave a billionaire's only chance for a child to an unsuspecting woman. A scared nurse suddenly ran in and yelled that they had messed up badly. Soon after, the city's richest man, Lu Hanchuan, showed up with his mother. All the hospital staff knelt down in fear as a doctor admitted they had accidentally used Mr. First's speech, Lu's sperm sample, on the wrong patient. His mother was first shocked, then thrilled. It turned out her son couldn't have kids after a car accident 2 years ago, and this was the last sample of the Lu family line. She said that whoever this woman was, she was now her chosen daughter-in-law. Hanchuan immediately told his men to find her no matter what. His mother was so emotional she cried, saying her grandson was finally on his way. 3 months later, the woman, Zhang Wanwan, found out she was pregnant. Her mother was furious, saying her daughter had never even been with a man. But the test was clear, and as people talked about her shame, Wanwan could only cry, not knowing how this happened. 6 years passed. Hanchuan was still looking for the child, but his mother had run out of patience. She reminded him their family had a special trait. All Lu family descendants were born with 6 fingers. All he had to do was find the 6-fingered child, and her grandson would be found. Meanwhile, Wanwan was raising her son and Anne by herself. The boy sadly asked his mother why he had 6 fingers, asking if he was a monster. To protect him, she always made him wear a glove, promising they would save money for surgery one day. To get by, she took a job where her son would be a playmate at a rich family's house, which turned out to be the Lu family mansion. Inside, the Lu family matriarch was loving her adopted grandson, but still prayed every day to find her real biological heir. When an Anne was introduced, the old woman noticed his gloved hand. She took it, and as she counted the fingers, her eyes opened wide in shock, grabbing the boy and saying he was her long-lost grandson. Just as the matriarch celebrated finding her heir, the head housekeeper stepped in, saying she had miscounted, breaking the old woman's heart. The matriarch fell down in despair. News came that another search for a 6-fingered child had failed, and she started crying uncontrollably, lost in sadness for the grandson she had looked for over 6 long years. Seeing her pain, and Anne, who had never known his own father, felt very sorry for her. He walked over and gently told her not to cry. As he spoke, the heartbroken old woman looked at him and had a strong vision. She saw him smiling, saying, "Grandma, I'm back." In that moment, her sadness turned to certainty. She wrapped her arms around the boy, hugging him tight and sobbing that she had finally found her grandson, leaving everyone in the room completely shocked. The adopted son, Yang, threw a jealous fit, pushing the boy and screaming that the grandmother was his alone. When the matriarch tried to calm him, he threw a tantrum, accusing her of not loving him anymore. The housekeeper saw her chance, telling her men to chase the mother and son away. Wanwan begged, asking for a chance because her son badly needed money for medical treatment. Just as they were being pulled out, the billionaire Lu Hanchuan arrived. He felt an immediate strange connection to the boy and Anne. But as he got closer, he started sneezing nonstop. Confused but firm, he overruled the housekeeper and told them to stay, doubling their pay right then. The matriarch, moved by Anne's good manners and sad story of wearing old clothes, liked him more and more, wondering why such a perfect boy couldn't be her real grandson. This made the housekeeper furious, because her evil plan was suddenly in danger. In a shocking turn, it was revealed that the adopted son Yang was her real child. She had put him in an orphanage years ago, planning for him to be adopted by the rich Lu family to get their money. Afraid Anne was winning the matriarch's love, she secretly stole a lock of his hair and sent it for DNA testing. Her plan was to announce at the matriarch's upcoming birthday party that Anne had a genetic problem, making sure her own son was the only heir. But her plan failed terribly. A doctor got the results and was stunned. The DNA test was almost a perfect match. And Anne was definitely Lu Hanchuan's son, the true heir they had been searching for over 6 years. Realizing the truth, an assistant immediately rushed to bring the report to the Lu family. Not knowing the truth was coming fast, Yang was busy playing games on his phone while pretending to do homework. When Anne warned him the grandmother was coming, Yang wouldn't listen, coldly saying her poor eyesight meant she'd never know. The housekeeper, covering for her son, showed the blank homework book to the matriarch, saying it was perfect. But Anne knew they were both lying. Seeing his hesitation, the spoiled Yang immediately turned things around, grabbing Anne's phone and accusing him of playing games instead of studying. Scared of losing the job his mother really needed, Anne couldn't tell the truth and took the blame. As tears ran down his face, the matriarch felt a sharp, unexplainable pain in her heart. She couldn't understand why this boy's sadness hurt her so much, not knowing the unbreakable bond of blood was calling out to her. At the matriarch's big birthday party, the adopted son, Yang, gave an expensive pearl necklace he bought with his allowance. The guests were impressed, praising his thoughtfulness. In complete contrast, Anne humbly offered a small handmade safety charm. While the matriarch was deeply touched by the sincere gift, Yang got very angry, making fun of the cheap present. The housekeeper, seeing her chance, grabbed the charm and threw it on the ground, calling it a worthless piece of junk. And Anne's mother, Wan Wan, rushed to pick it up, saying that a gift's value is in the thought, not the price. But as the party went on, a jealous young Yang purposely tripped an Anne, making him fall into the big birthday cake and causing a scene. The housekeeper immediately started yelling at an Anne, screaming that the little brat had ruined the whole party. The guests joined in, insulting the boy and his mother. They called Wen Wen a shameless woman for having a child without being married, and an Anne a fatherless kid with dirty blood. And Anne, holding back tears, shouted that he did have a father, but the crowd just made more fun of him. Angry at the unfairness, the matriarch finally stood up for the boy, but the housekeeper cut her off, sneering that she'd been tricked. With a winning glare, she said the woman had a wild past and her son was a monster with genetic problems. She jumped at Anne, violently tearing the glove off his hand to show his 6 fingers to the shocked crowd. As the guests gasped at the boy's 6 fingers, the housekeeper twisted the truth, saying this deformity proved his bad genes. A woman slapped the mother hard across the face, then threw a vase that broke against her head. The boy was pulled roughly away from his mother as the woman screamed that they had ruined the old matriarch's birthday. The boy was called bad luck for messing up the party and setting up the young master. The housekeeper swore to beat the mother to death for daring to fight back. After the mother was thrown to the ground, the boy ran to her side, begging the bad woman not to hurt his mother. It turned out the housekeeper had accused the boy of being a monster who would destroy the family. The family's powerful son suddenly arrived and stopped the attack. The housekeeper immediately changed her story, saying she was acting for the family's own good. She pointed to the glove on the boy's hand, calling him a monster with a genetic problem who must be thrown out. She announced she had already sent the boy's hair for a DNA test, sure the results would show the truth. Just then, a phone call came with the test results. The housekeeper, sure she had won, gave the phone to the matriarch. But the voice on the phone said the DNA results were in, and the boy was the young master's real son. Hearing this, the matriarch, who had been blind for years, miraculously opened her eyes. She could see again. She looked at the boy and realized he was her true grandson, and the Liu family finally had an heir. The housekeeper was shocked that the old woman was no longer blind. The matriarch hugged her real grandson, overjoyed to have finally found him. The other boy, who had been pretending to be the heir, admitted that he was not the real grandson. The whole family now understood the housekeeper's evil plan. She tried to keep up the lie, insisting the other boy was the true heir, but the matriarch sent her away. The crowd realized the woman and her son were scammers who brought a fake child to take the family money. The matriarch, full of regret, held the mother's hands, crying. She explained that for all these years, she and her grandson had suffered. She apologized for the Liu family's failure to protect them and knelt, asking for forgiveness. The son was still confused, thinking his mother was having a breakdown and wrongly claiming his son. The evil housekeeper immediately agreed, saying the old woman had gone crazy with sadness. But the matriarch, now thinking clearly, slapped the housekeeper across the face, then turned on the guests who made fun of her grandson, hitting them one by one. She said the boy was her biological grandson, and she would not let anyone bully him or his mother. The housekeeper, refusing to give up, pushed the fake grandson forward, saying he was the real heir. She claimed the mother was a scammer trying to sneak into the rich family. To prove her point, she brought in the mother's own family as witnesses. The second they walked in, the father saw his daughter and attacked her, throwing her to the floor. The boy tried to protect his mother, telling the man to stop hitting her, but the father kicked the child and called him a bastard, who didn't even have a father. Only then did the mother realize her own father's plan. He said he already took $30,000 as a bride price to marry her off to another man, and now that she had a child, he had to get rid of the boy. The grandmother even told him not to hit her face because it would ruin her value. The boy stood up to them, saying he wouldn't let anyone bully his mother. Seeing this, the Liu family matriarch became very angry. She said that anyone who dared to touch her grandson or daughter-in-law would die a horrible death. The father then told the matriarch that his daughter was not what she seemed, and that the boy's father was unknown. He said his daughter worked at a funeral home, and that the Liu family's young master was one of her clients. The guests immediately went wild, calling the woman shameless for having a child with a random man. The father then disowned her, declaring to the heavens that he no longer had such a daughter. The mother was devastated, crying that she would never do such a thing. As her own family tried to drag her and the boy away, the child cried out for his father to come and save them. At the sound of his cries, the young master held his chest in pain, confused by his strong feelings. The housekeeper and the father tried to convince him to let them take the child to an orphanage, but he ordered them to stop. A man burst in with a DNA report, but the next second he was shoved hard against the door as a woman tried to drag a small boy out of the mansion. The family matriarch was hysterical, screaming that her grandson was being sold, while the rich CEO standing beside her insisted the boy wasn't his son. The guests immediately made fun of the boy's poor mother, calling her a scammer trying to marry into their rich family. The boy got free and bit the person holding him before falling to the floor. He then desperately knelt, begging the CEO and his grandmother to save his mother. But another woman stepped forward, calling the boy and his mother trash. She threatened to have them thrown in jail if they didn't leave right away. This made the matriarch furious, who slapped the woman and said her whole family were the real trash. Just then, the dazed man got up, still holding the DNA results.